And to kick off the panel, we have Jonathan Benjamin.
Can I hold this for a second? One second. Thank you. I got trained in Seattle 6 months ago, and I think there's something really special about your first Train the Trainer conference. For me, it was anyway. And I gotta tell you, Denver, you guys rock. The energy in here, the people in here, the only thing missing from the Seattle conference was you guys. Well, some of you were here. So Regina called me about a month ago and asked me if I would be on the Denver panel. And I was like, yeah, of course, whatever you need, sure. And I guess I spaced what the panel was for a few seconds because I'm like, wait a minute, I don't have to say anything or speak or get on stage, do I? And she's like, yeah. So I felt like this anxiety like gripped me, like this fear. It was exciting, but it was scary at the same exact time. Now, this is coming from someone who took an F for an entire semester in school just because I didn't want to give a 2-minute speech in front of people at the class. So I took a couple deep breaths, and I thought about it for a minute, and I remembered a quote that I always tell people. I post it on Facebook, and really I'd like to think that I live my life this way, which is if something both scares and excites you, you should probably go ahead and do it. So I said yes, obviously. The interesting thing was, when I was being trained in Seattle, I was looking up at the stage, and I was thinking in my head, like, man, I'd really like to be up there. I'd really like to, get on stage and say something, and thoughts become things, so, here I am. That's some pretty accurate manifestation from seat to stage in 6 months. I wish I could do a parking spot that fast, but not so much for me. The fear that I felt reminded me, fear and excitement, it was the same thing, and it's a borderline kind of thing. It goes both ways. You just got to channel it the right way. But, I felt it the same when I went back from Seattle back home. And I knew the material, but I didn't know how to get started. I had like over-analysis paralysis. And if any of you are feeling that right now, or if any of you, is anyone feeling like you understand it and you get it and you want to do it, but you're almost like, man, I got to step out and I got to step forward and I just don't know. Like, I'm a little scared. Anyone? Okay. Good. Not good that you're feeling it, but good that because I'm about to help. But so I put together a couple points and also tell you a couple stories that happened to me that hopefully will help you. Look at the shirt. The J, it's obviously for my name, but also just move forward. Keep moving forward. A lot of the things I'm going to say up here, you've probably heard it multiple times during this conference, and you might hear it a few more times. But that's good because it's the same stuff. And sometimes it takes just beating it into your brain for you to remember it on your own. If you're moving forward and you're talking to people and you're always discussing this and talking about this, the perfect things will happen. Life's magic will happen. The perfect serendipities will happen. You don't even know where it's going to come from. I want to tell you a story that happened to me, and it came from the most unexpected place. When I got back from Seattle, I had to go to a dermatologist and have needles shoved in my face. It was not Botox. Maybe one day, but not yet. I kept having these little places on my beard that the hair stopped growing, and the way they fix it is they just inject cortisone right into the spot, and the hair starts growing again. Don't worry, it's not contagious. Apparently, it's extremely common, and I had it about a year ago, so I know that it's not a fun experience to have needles shoved in your face. So I had to get it done because I was seeing this in little spots. I'm like, damn, this thing's back again? I thought I got rid of this. And I was like, okay, I have my appointment for Monday. Monday comes. Now, I'm extremely needle phobic. I'm getting better, but I used to be like held down as a child to, get a shot or, God forbid, draw blood. So I kept putting it on, like, Monday comes and my appointment's on Monday. Monday, injections and shots in your face on Monday, not gonna happen. That's a horrible way to start the week. I don't think anyone should start their week that way. Tuesday, so I push it to Tuesday, right? Tuesday rolls around. Oh, I live in Florida. The humidity has my hair so messed up. I cannot look like this and get shots in my face. I gotta make sure I look a little better before I go get shots in my face. Wednesday rolls around. Wednesday, hump day, whoop whoop. You know what it's gonna be? It's gonna be a no needles in the face hump day. That's what it's gonna be. Thursday, you get the point. So I'm just pushing this thing. I'm like, man, I really gotta go. So I end up going, and I've been to this doctor before. She's extremely professional, but not overly friendly and talkative. So she's flipping through my chart, and she's asking me some questions, and one of the questions was, what you been up to? Where you been? So I told her I was in Seattle. She said, what did you do in Seattle? I told her what I did in Seattle, She sparks right up. She's like, oh my God, I'm totally into the power of positive and the power, Dr. Wayne Dyer and, the power of now and positive thinking, positive vibes. And we get in this great conversation. And then she starts talking about how when she's talking to her patients, she speaks in the terms of health and well-being and healing as opposed to sickness and disease when she's talking to them because she doesn't want to even say those words out of her mouth. How refreshing is that? I was blown by a doctor. I was blown away. So we have some other friendly conversation. It's going really well. I'm kind of floored by this whole situation. And I would like to think that she injected my face with a little bit more love that day, although it still hurt like hell. Before I leave, she scribbles down her email address, her personal email address. It's a Gmail account, so it's not like her, at the office. And she goes, whenever you do your classes, whenever you do your workshops, please let me know. And she gives me her email address. Not only would I be interested, but I have tons of friends who love this stuff, and they would love to hear more about it. I was like, did that just happen? So I was like literally in the vortex. I'm even vibrating like at a high level. So I was like, you know what? Let me take this to the next level. Obviously, this is my day. So I go to this little breakfast place. It's around the corner from my office. I go there probably once or twice a week and get coffee. I know the owner just because she's the one usually making the coffee, so I just chat with her while I'm there. She's only open for breakfast, meaning she's closed like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and she doesn't use it in the afternoons. She doesn't use it in the evenings. It seats about 40 or 50 people. So here's my idea. I'm going to ask her if I can rent it from her. Then I could do my workshop there, and it seats plenty of people, and I'll have a place to do it. So I go in. I'm still riding high from the doctor office. Little pieces of tissue, the blood on my face. So I start explaining to her, and I'm about to get to the point where I'm going to ask her to rent it from me, and she's like, you can use my restaurant. I'll give it to you for free. I'll give you the key. Just lock up and clean up when you leave. So once again, I'm like, did that really happen? This is on a seemingly horrible morning, to go get needles shoved in my face. Within an hour, I have people excited to take the class and want to take it, and a place that seats 40 or 50 to do it. Just move forward. I started a networking group. I meet every Tuesday at that same restaurant. It's a great way to get your name out there, to tell people what you're doing. You tell them, they tell their people, and you're networking. It's a great way. You'll find people that way. This one's funny. Don't forget your current skill set. Don't forget you all have skills and talents already. You know people, and you're really good at something, or lots of things. And if you don't think you are, think about it, you are. When I was getting trained in Seattle, I was so overwhelmed with the material of just like learning the new things and doing it in a structured way in the workbook and all, you guys have huge binders. And I was thinking, how am I going to market this? How am I going to get this out there to people? Completely forgetting that I own a marketing company. I laughed at myself so hard. It was the funniest thing. I was like, this is what I do. I do national campaigns across the country. I could find people to do my class. So don't forget what you do. If you're talking about this all the time to everyone you meet, all the time, which you should be anyway, because that's how thoughts become things, people will come out of the woodwork. It is my firm belief. People don't only want to hear this. They need to hear this. And they'll tell you about it. They'll tell you something you say. They'll come, I needed to hear that. Next thing I did, now that I had a place to do it and I had people interested, was my confidence. I had to build it up a little more. And specifically, I'm a pretty confident person, but for this specifically, because it was new, I was feeling that fear. So for me, I wanted to make it more of a business rather than just this little class that I did after work. So I got a website, had it built, had a logo created, business cards, logoed pens. I was making it very real to me. I ordered the workbooks from tut.com. I highly recommend you do this. I know that there were some for sale, and I think they're gone right now, but they have them on the website. Order them. Order more than you need. Order 50. If you're only planning on doing 10, trust me, you're going to manifest it. There's going to be more people than you can count. That made it very real to me. Those may not be the ways that will make it real to you for your confidence, but you have to do your own ways. The other thing is, and Michael already said this, know the material, and know the material. That's right, you're a smart group. I got back from Seattle, and, well, here's the thing. I'm the kind of person that talks about this all the time anyway. I was already doing it. I'm like the go-to person for people in my, my circle of love, I call it, friends, family, whatnot. When they're down, when they need motivation, inspiration, I'm the one they call. Right when I got back from Seattle, I took a call from a friend I hadn't talked to, and it was about an hour-long conversation. I hang up the phone, My wife looks over at me and goes, congratulations, you just did a 1-hour mini workshop. I needed to hear that because it reminded me that I'm already doing this. This is just a more structured way to do it. Use your own stories. You all have amazing stories. If you don't think you do, you do. Think about it. You've all overcome challenges. You've all thought things that happened and manifested, and you've thought things that didn't manifest, but then maybe you found out later why it didn't, and it sent you down a better path. So just use your own stories. It'll elicit a lot of conversation in your group. The last thing is, go easy on yourself. My first class, the people were giving me blank stares. Deer in headlights. 2 hours, no one said a word. And this is a class, my mom was there. I'm like, help me out, Mom, come on, say something. But after the class, I was sure they weren't coming back. They're not coming back. But after the class, every single one of them sent me a text message saying not only did they love the class, and I did a great job, but they were looking forward to the next one. One of them even called me and said, can I bring more materials and another workbook? Because she wanted to drag her husband. She didn't want him to miss anything else that he already missed. He already missed something. She didn't want to miss anything else. So after all this, if you're still feeling like you're still a little nervous or excited, just remember that life begins at the end of your comfort zone. And just move forward. Thank you.